Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and remember to subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon. There seems to be some confusion as to what Tesla is. Yes, Tesla is a benevolent company. They are actually the good guys. They're also marketed this way and thus cannot be seen to do any bad in the public's eye, as it would be very off-brand. But Tesla is not a consumer-first company. They are not out there conducting marketing research, asking you what you would look for most when buying a new car. Tesla and Elon know what the best things are in a car that add the most value, along with the added value relative to cost and how much harder it may be to engineer or manufacture any features. The end result is complete value for money, with no fads or soon to become obsolete technologies. The most bang for your buck as possible for a car. It just wasn't marketed to you. How convenient in-cabin YouTube is. Not in the same way Audi like to show off their optional extra orange stitching in their e-tron GT. The competition are trying to make faster horses. Tesla is a large collection of some of the best engineering minds on the planet. Together, they're coming up with ideas on how to improve the world. However, any idea is only good if it's profitable. Tesla have a huge mission, and it's going to take a lot of money. This money, as hard as it may be for some to believe, well, it's going to come from making profits. The problem is, though, for extreme lack of a better word, that Tesla are too good. Really, they're making products that are so far ahead of everyone else. And now, they've just launched their latest product, the 4680 Model Y. And we don't even know what this car's fully capable of yet, or will be in the future, but it's extremely unlikely anyone else is catching up to it this decade. Tesla have about a decade lead, at least, as that somewhat implies others will catch up to Tesla where they are today, which may very well never happen. It's possible that no other EV company or battery company ever produces a cell as good as the 4680, by which I mean Tesla's 4680. What do I mean by too good? Well, what if, for example, all this effort Tesla are going to in producing the 4680 cells, well, what if there are unintended side effects that crop up? Like, for example, the cells end up having more power than they thought. Tesla may have intended on producing a somewhat affordable Model Y from Austin, but then these 4680 cells ended up being much more powerful than they thought, and ended up with a much faster 0 to 60 time than Tesla had originally planned for pricing the car. Now Tesla may have delivered the intended specification of the car, except it's just super quick, maybe even too quick for a lot of consumers. Well, in that case, they can limit the software, but then there's all that wasted power, then sell it as a software upgrade to whomever wants it. Tesla didn't go into the 4680 design with the target of 5 times energy and 6 times power. That's just what the results were, after everything else they did. And likely things like charging times are obviously important, but would have taken a backseat to production speed and cost, so charging speed would not have been the main priority over the battery design. However, possibly due to features like tabless cell design that was required for the larger cell, well, what if a side effect meant that 4680 cells can be charged up to, say, 400 kilowatts or something ridiculous? Again, Tesla didn't do market research and discover that customers want 400 kilowatt charging speeds, and they had to build a cell that meets that requirement, as the customer is always right. No, consumers seem to expect that because Tesla can do that, then they deserve that, and shouldn't have to pay extra. In fact, I feel like there is some entitlement in the community. Look, I don't mean to sound apathetic or insensitive. I know a lot of you really covet a Tesla and are loyal to the brand and CEO, and possibly feel that you deserve one. And alright, Elon did promise a $25,000 Tesla, but this is an investment channel, so in theory, I should have no empathy for anyone listening, as raising prices and increasing profit is good for investors. Perhaps Tesla underestimated their demand or changed their business plan from Battery Day when this low-cost EV was first announced. I think now Tesla's demand is so much higher than even Tesla anticipated that Tesla don't need to release any low-cost EV anytime soon for the mission. The Model 2 was the favourite placeholder name for some time. This was going to be a major direction for the company. Tesla needed to get tons of their vehicles out into consumer hands so they can eventually operate the robotaxi network. Perhaps it was unrealistic to think that so many consumers would want a Model Y due to the prices being regarded as somewhat high. Although around the time of Battery Day, the Model Ys feel like they were priced pretty well now, don't they? But potentially still too expensive to expect enough people to buy them for a feasible robotaxi fleet. Except people did buy them and kept buying them, and then more and more, and it's now lined up to be the biggest selling car of all time, implying that Tesla don't need the Model 2 or some low-cost compact out that early. Enough people will buy 3s and Ys for that mission. then there'll be enough profit from these vehicles to fund the extension of the mission. Previously, Tesla might have thought that they need a low-cost vehicle to go mass market enough for robotaxis. They were wrong. Plenty of people want to buy a Model Y and fund the mission. And in case you were wondering, there will likely be a compact Tesla, perhaps in the second half of this decade. But 1, it will not be Tesla's biggest selling model, and 2, I'm afraid it won't be $25,000 either. But that's okay, right? Remember, you're shareholders. This means that although you may not be able to buy the $25,000 Tesla now, it likely won't be long until you can afford the $66,000 Model Y. Demand is too high for vastly more popular mainstream models already. Oh, and there's significantly more profit coming from the Model Y. The processes and systems are all in place. Could you imagine how long it would take to get a new compact model out that was potentially going to be in higher production units than the Y? It would have been years away still. Look how long the Cybertruck has taken. And the Cybertruck is going to be insanely profitable. I'm thinking 50% margin. And you can bet there'll be people upset they can't afford them, as if it's Tesla's fault. Tesla are just making excellent products. It's the consumer's fault for liking them so much and increasing demand so high that Tesla have to raise prices. The next models are the semi-truck and Roadster. Something tells me that these products are also going to be massively profitable. Tesla is starting with all the most profitable products first. It was the only way. Higher priced items are in lower quantity. Lower quantity means less economies of scale. Less economies of scale means a lower barrier to entry, which is exactly how Tesla entered the auto market and was the only successful US auto company to survive since Chrysler, because the big three had such a hold on the industry. But Elon managed to even penetrate the almighty three big US auto cartel of cronyism, but still only just. Makes you wonder how the others might get on. Just kidding, it's kind of obvious. And Tesla's strategy hasn't stopped. Tesla is still launching the expensive, more profitable models that will go on to fund the less expensive vehicles for the masses. I think this is where the confusion lies. Elon is trying to make clean energy the lowest cost of transport for everyone. Elon is not trying to make Teslas for everyone. The world isn't that abundant. But with technology you can leverage. And that one electric robobus may be able to serve transportation requirements for as many as 100 people in a city. That's 100 people that get to travel in Teslas per vehicle, compared to a Model 2, which is for one person, or perhaps maximum replaces 5 ICE vehicles with robotaxi capabilities. I'm sorry, but Tesla is about the mission, not the consumer. The consumer is here to fund the mission. The consumer gets exceptional products that would have possibly never even been invented had it not been for this company. Personally, for me, as a consumer for Tesla, I think it's best to appreciate whatever products they decide to make for us. Oh, but the current Model Y long range isn't using 4680 cells, and you really want a Model Y long range with 4680 cells. Well, get over yourself. Tesla have kindly made you a Model Y long range with 2170 cells. The 4680 cells are for a different vehicle. There is still nothing in the world that comes remotely close to a long range Model Y. People are still willing to buy them, despite the price rises. Tesla are supply constrained. They made something so popular that everyone wants them. Yes, including people who cannot afford them. And I've been speaking about this a bit lately. Tesla is still offering absolutely amazing value at their current prices. They really are. Sure, it might be expensive, but value for money is relative, and we talk about priorities. As a Tesla owner, I have never bought a product that I derive more enjoyment. If I'd known it would bring me this much satisfaction, and if it was out of my budget, I would have made the sacrifices necessary. Now, when I say out of my budget, I mean anyone's budget who is looking at buying a new car. Remember, it's not that the cost of the Tesla is $66,000, it's that it might be $20,000 more than your budget for a regular car. My point is, that additional $20,000 is well worth it, and well worth sacrificing vacations or expensive items, or even working some overtime to have one. At least for me. Within time, there will likely be more affordable Teslas, but let's face it, $25,000 was probably ridiculous from the start. The loan payments on that car could have been almost covered with what you'd save on bus fare. But what may be best for the mission is not always best for the individual consumer. On the other hand, it's usually good for the shareholder. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.